Hey, so I just wanted to give a shout out to single parents. I just dropped my kiddo off. My second son started driving. We just got his car. I'm in his car. He wanted to take his car and show his buddy. Can't drive at night though. So by the time his youth group gets done, he can't drive. So he's a little disappointed. But I seriously want to give a shout out to single parents. Single parenting is hard. And I am definitely having a moment where it is hard. I have 4 boys and they're freaking phenomenal. But we're going on the second year now where, because of dad's choices, that he has not been involved in their life at all. And it is brought like this realization. We went to down to Disneyland a couple weeks ago. And it was like on day 6 or 7 that I had a complete and utter meltdown. I totally had a meltdown at the beach house because it just hit me, the realization that like I'm a single mom. I am doing this by myself. It's hard enough to be a single parent and give the kids half the time. I mean, the dynamics and the trauma and all the crap, the emotional turbulence that comes with handing kids off and bringing them back. And especially in my case, because there were so many issues with their dad, which came to fruition, unfortunately, on his part, which is why he doesn't see him currently. And, but the weight of 4 boys and doing it 24/7, 365 was like front and center on that trip. There's a reason we don't spend 24/7 together. That they go to school and that I go to work, and like we do other things. But man, we were on that vacation and it was just like I said, it was hitting front and center where we're at Disneyland and you have to spend an hour in each line waiting. So here I am wrangling 4 boys from 6'2" down to barely 4 foot. And the bickering and the bantering, and there was a lot of good stuff. Don't get me wrong. I mean, we had so much fun. We had so many killer memories. We had so many cool conversations, but it gets weary. Like, it gets weary. And so if you're a single parent out there, I just want to freaking tip my hat to you, because people that aren't single don't get it. My entire block, I'm the only single parent on this block, with the exception of one gentleman on the backside that I don't even know. And most parents, like, they'll complain when their husband goes out of town for 2 or 3 days and they're like, oh my God, I have to deal with this. And I just want to look at them and be like, what the hell? Like, I get for them, it's tough. And you guys, if you know a single parent in your life, please give them grace. They are doing the best they can freaking do. There's so many things that happen. There's the dynamics. I mean, I have a range of kids from 7 to 17. So I literally am bouncing from every stage, mental, developmental, emotional stage possible. And it's friggin' exhausting. It's absolutely exhausting. And I was just driving my kiddo to youth group and I was overwhelmed, and my oldest is going through some shit right now, and I was totally overwhelmed, and he's like, Mom, he's like, you just have to know. He's like, he starts rattling off. He's like, you've got this to deal with this one. One of our kids is adopted, and that just presents a whole different ball of wax. The adoption comes out of trauma, period. So there's just shit there to deal with, and because of this shit, my youngest is dealing with serious trauma, and it's just a lot. It's not only do I have 4 kids, they all have big dynamics. And he's sitting here and he's like, Mom, you don't understand. He's like, most dual parent families can't handle 2 kids with half the shit that we deal with. And he's sharing with me. He's like, I'm so proud of you as mom. And I'm bawling, right? Because I'm like, no, I'm messing it up here. I'm messing it up there. And I'm messing it up there. And he's like, Mom, he's like, I don't know anybody as strong as you who's willing to stand up and break generational shit, like on both sides, with my ex, with his family, with my family, with there's just so much up. There's so much shit. There's so much shit. It's almost comical if I listed through all the shit that we're dealing with, which I won't, simply for the privacy of my kids' sake, right? And in my family's sake. But it is just absurd. At most, like a couple with only 2 kids couldn't deal with what we're dealing with. And I got to the realization, he's like, you're too hard on yourself. You're too hard on yourself. And it brought the realization to me that as a single parent, we do place so much pressure on ourselves. It's really hard when we don't have someone to bounce discipline off, or holy crap, this kid's going sideways, can you go talk to him? Or I was sick, and like 2 nights ago, I was freaking so sick, my retina's hurt. I hadn't been that sick in I don't know how long. Years, like super, super sick. And my youngest wanted me to come back upstairs and put him to bed, or to say goodnight again. And he doesn't normally do that. He's really good, but surely he was sensing my unrest and uneasiness, whatever. But I just wanted to freaking tap out. I was like, I just want somebody to go put him to bed. And we don't get a break as single parents. So like I said, if you know of someone that is a single parent, give them grace. You have no clue the amount of pressure that they're under, the pressure they put themselves under, the lack of reprieve they have. We don't get to tap out. When I'm sick and my retina's hurt, that my freaking hair in my armpits are, everything hurt, right? I still have to do dinner. I still have to put the kids to bed. I still have to get up and go to work. I still have to do my job. I still have to be available to them. I still have to be on. There is no other person to tap out. And people don't understand, like, discipline. I'm going through an issue with my 3rd son, and I'm taking heat from people about the level of discipline. And it's like, you guys don't understand what goes on behind those closed doors and what we deal with. And I'm making the best choices that I know how. And I think that's what the message I would love for people to give grace to single parents with. They're doing the best they know how. It's not easy. It's exhausting. There are so many days I just want to not crawl out of bed. And they're also the reason I get out of bed every day. I love my boys, and they're freaking phenomenal, and they've been through hell and fucking back. I don't know how many times. And it just keeps hitting, and it's hitting from all directions. Like, my kids and I are on an island, and by choice to some extent. If you're toxic, you do not get to exist in our life. You just don't, period. And part of that is because of our lack of bandwidth. When we are navigating this shit by yourself, you're toxic, you're freaking out of our life in a New York second, man. I have learned to, I used to feel really bad about that. I did. I used to feel bad. It doesn't matter if you're family or you're not. And I don't feel bad about it at all anymore in any way, shape, or form. If we just don't have the capacity, we're so stretched, we're so at our bandwidth, that if you're not a positive for us or my kids in any way, and that goes for like significant others and dating and all that kind of crap, like it just, if you're not at the best for my boys, you're not in my life. It's that simple. It's really that simple. And a lot of people don't understand it, and they don't get why we pull back and we recoil, because when we operate at such a different level than the rest of the world. We do. Like, we have to. I have to be at peak performance all the time. And quite frankly, it catches up, right? When we get spent and exhausted, and I am at my breaking point. Tonight, I just want to go into my room and cry myself to sleep, and I can't. I get to pull my crap together, and I'll talk to my kids. It's not like I don't share with them, oh, mom's overwhelmed, and we don't talk about how I'm feeling, because we do that all the time in my house. I don't hide this from my kids. And I also don't ever want them to feel guilty that they were a source of my stress, because I'd freaking do anything for those little humans. Anything. No questions asked. And it's amazing what we as parents will do for our kids, no matter how much crap they put us through, no matter how stressful they are, no matter How many times we tell them something and they just repeatedly do shit over and over and over, and we're like, what in the hell? What's it going to take for you to get this? And it just, oh, I'm totally snotting. This is awesome. Anyway, my whole point is, man, this is a shout out to you single parents, but more importantly, this is a wake up call to those of you that have a single parent in your life. Just know they're doing the best damn life that they can do. And it's hard, and they won't show you, and they won't tell you, and they will pull their bootstraps up, and they will do what they need to do for their kids all the time, every time. But just know it's hard. Even parents that have the support and the kids go see the other parent half the time, it's still freaking hard. So give them grace. You don't even ask questions, because here's the problem. You ask questions and they might just go lose their shit. They might fall apart. And if you're a safe person for them, they will, because I've got those people. I mean, trust me, I've got those people in my life. But there's no one else that is invested in their kids and their kids' success like their own parent. And that, I think, is part of the challenge as a single parent too, is like, no matter what significant other, no matter what friends, as much as their good intentions are, although that's not true. I have a couple really good friends who adore my kids and would do anything for them, but they're just not vested the same, right? They're just not vested the same as when it's your own child. It's just different. And so it feels very lonely. We're very much on an island and on our own, and it feels really lonely at times. So, man, just love on your people that are single parents. They really could use your support. And like I said, don't ask. Just support them blindly in whatever way possible that you know how, and be there for them. And give them grace. Give them lots and lots and lots of grace.